Think you need expensive tools to fix modern cars? Think again. A simple $5 hack can save you thousands in unnecessary repairs, yet most drivers and even some mechanics completely ignore it. One shop skipped this tiny step after repairing a Mercedes, and the warning light stayed on even though the problem was already fixed. I've seen it happen, over and over again. Today, I'll show you 9 car repair secrets, starting with the $5 hack that could save you the most money. So stick around because one of the hacks is the trick most mechanics don't even know how to do right. Perhaps you could teach them. All right, let's get into it. Hack number 9. Never connect battery cables directly on modern cars. Back in the day, guys would touch the positive and negative battery cables together to wipe out the computer. Worked fine on an old Celica. 0 computer modules to worry about. Try that trick on a modern car and you're playing with fire. Today's cars can have over 100 separate computer modules, each one packed with capacitors holding a charge, kind of like 100 tiny batteries hiding all over your dashboard, your seats, your doors, even your mirrors. Touch those cables together and you drain everything at once. That sudden rush can send a voltage spike straight into delicate circuit boards, sort of like dumping a full bucket of water on a phone charger instead of just unplugging it nice and slow. Fry one of those modules and you're not looking at a $50 part. You're looking anywhere from $400 to over $2,000, plus programming fees to make the new one actually talk to your car. So what do smart techs do instead? Pull both battery terminals off the car. Take one end of the resistor and touch it to the positive cable, the other end to the negative cable. Let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. Or if you're impatient like me, clip a set of jumper cables onto each end of the resistor so you're not standing there in your driveway holding 2 wires like a mad scientist. Put your terminals back on, positive first, then negative, snug them down, and that stubborn permanent code is very likely gone for good. I'll show you exactly what that is. But first, there's a warning light trick that fools even experienced mechanics. Hack number 8. That dash dongle could be frying your car's computer. You know those little plug-in code readers people leave stuck in the data port under the dash, sometimes for months at a time? Convenient, sure. But leaving a cheap dongle powered up around the clock keeps drawing current off modules that were never designed to stay awake all day and all night. Over time, that constant low draw can drain your battery faster. And a weak, tired battery is one of the top reasons computer modules start acting glitchy in the first place. Picture your car's computers like a person trying to sleep with someone tapping their shoulder every few seconds. Eventually, something starts misbehaving. Weird dash warnings, random misfires that come and go for no reason, modules that forget their settings overnight. All of it can trace back to a battery that never gets a full rest. The fix costs nothing. Unplug the dongle the second you're done reading your codes. Simple as that, and it costs you $0 to start doing it today. But here's the part that really gets people mad. A code that supposedly never goes away. Hack number 7. The permanent code that isn't actually permanent. You fix the sensor, you clear the code, it comes right back, and it says permanent. Most folks panic here. They think the part they just bought was defective, or the problem is still there. Here's the truth. Permanent codes live in a deeper layer of the computer's memory than your basic scan tool ever touches. A cheap tool only erases the surface-level codes, the easy ones. It never reaches into the module's long-term memory where that permanent flag actually sits. Kind of like wiping your desktop clean but leaving old files buried deep on the hard drive. So you can replace the part correctly, do everything right, and that stubborn code just sits there mocking you anyway, still glowing on your dash like nothing changed. Ever stare at that little wrench light and wonder if you just wasted $100 on a part for nothing? You didn't. The part is fine. The memory just needs to actually be cleared. Dealers charge $75 to $150 just to plug in a bigger tool and clear that flag for you. There's a way around that fee entirely, and it connects straight back to that battery trick we already teased. Hack number 6. Cracked plastic housings and metal parts do not always need replacing. A cracked headlight housing, a split plastic bracket, a hairline fracture in a metal bracket that holds nothing critical. Most shops quote you a full replacement part. On something like a specialty headlight assembly, that number can land near $1,100, easy. But plastic and light metal brackets aren't complicated. They just need something strong enough to bond and hold shape under vibration. They don't need a brand new part shipped from a dealer warehouse. A 2-part steel epoxy, the kind sold in every hardware store for under $10, can rebuild that crack into something solid again, almost like giving the plastic a metal skeleton underneath the brake. Mix equal parts of the steel and the hardener right on a scrap piece of cardboard. Press it into the crack with a putty knife. Let it set, and you've got a bond that's often stronger than the plastic around it. It won't look pretty if you're sloppy, but if it's tucked under a hood or hidden behind a fender, who exactly is judging your paint job? The neighbor's dog. I once fixed a smashed headlight housing on my own old Celica this exact way. Blotchy epoxy job and all, just so the hood would close properly again. Bolted right up, never wobbled, and I saved myself hundreds of dollars over a part I wasn't about to pay for in a car I bought for $350. Before you slather that epoxy on though, there's one prep step almost everyone skips completely, and skipping it means the crack keeps spreading anyway, no matter how much epoxy you dump on top of it. Hack number 5. Stop cracks from spreading before repairing. Ever notice a small crack in plastic or metal somehow turns into a much bigger crack a few weeks later, even though you never touched it? Cracks don't just sit still. Every bump in the road, every hot afternoon and cold morning pushes that crack a little further along, like a small rip in fabric that keeps tearing wider every time you pull your shirt on. If you patch over a crack without stopping its path first, your fancy epoxy fix splits right along the new crack line within months. The trick is drilling a tiny hole at each end of the crack before you patch anything at all. That hole spreads the stress out into a wider round area instead of one thin, sharp point. So the crack has nowhere left to travel, kind of like poking a hole at the end of a paper tear so it stops ripping any further. I've used this same drill and stop trick on an actual Volvo engine head that was leaking coolant from a crack. Drilled tiny holes at both ends, packed the epoxy in with a putty knife, let it fully cure, and that customer drove the car for years afterward with 0 leaks ever again. Skip the drill step and your whole repair is basically wasted money. Get this next part wrong though, and you'll wreck the fix in a different way entirely. Real quick, before we get to the next one, if you're new here, this channel exists to keep dealers and quick lube shops from picking your pocket. So if any of this is saving you money already, tap that subscribe button. It costs you nothing and it keeps more of these coming. All right, let's get back under the hood. Hack number 4. Patience is essential for lasting repairs. You just drilled your stop holes, mixed your epoxy, and packed it into the crack. Feels done, right? Wrong. This is where most DIY repairs actually fail. Not because the material was bad, but because somebody got impatient. A quick set epoxy might feel dry to the touch in 4 minutes, but touch dry and fully cured are 2 completely different things. Kind of like frosting on a cake that looks set but is still soft underneath. Most of these 2-part epoxies need a full 4 hours before they reach true strength, and that's just the bare minimum the label gives you. I personally let mine sit a full 12 hours before I ever put stress back on it, especially on anything that deals with heat or constant vibration, like an engine or a headlight housing that bakes in the sun all day. You spent 30 minutes doing the repair right. Why blow it by driving off 20 minutes later like you're in some kind of rush to the emergency room? Rush it. Drive off after 20 minutes thinking you're clever, and that bond snaps under the first pothole. Now you're paying for the part you were trying to avoid buying in the first place. Give it the full cure time, and that fix can outlast the rest of the car. Speaking of things people rush, here's one that gets misdiagnosed constantly. Hack number 3. Foggy headlights aren't broken, they're just drowning. Cloudy, foggy-looking headlight lens with water droplets trapped inside? Most people assume the whole assembly is shot and needs replacing. On certain cars, especially anything with a specialty headlight housing, that replacement quote can run close to $1,100 per side. But here's what's actually happening. As the plastic ages and the seals dry out, tiny cracks let water vapor sneak in, and it has nowhere to escape, so it just condenses and sits there. The lens isn't broken. It's basically flooded, like a basement window that lets a little rain seep in every storm. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Drill a tiny hole at the very lowest point of the housing, and any water that gets in from now on has somewhere to drain right back out instead of pooling up inside. You can do this with the assembly still bolted onto the car most of the time. Just reach up underneath with a long drill bit and find that lowest point. If it's a halogen headlamp, the heat from the bulb even helps vaporize any leftover moisture and vent it straight out that same hole. You're not sealing a submarine here, champ. You're just giving trapped water an exit. I've done this on literally hundreds of customer cars over the years, and it works nearly every single time. No $1,100 part required. Speaking of expensive assumptions, here's one that scares people into replacing their engine or transmission for nothing. Hack number 2. That oil leak might not need a $5,000 repair. Rear main seal leak. Front transmission seal leak. Both of these sit buried deep inside the engine or transmission, which means labor alone can wreck your budget before a single part gets ordered. To physically reach either seal, a shop typically has to pull the entire transmission, or in some cases pull the whole engine right out of the car. That kind of labor bill routinely lands somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 depending on your make and model, and that's before you even factor in the part itself. Feel that gut punch just hearing the number? Most people do. But before you approve that estimate, there's a much cheaper option worth trying first. A seal conditioner additive that runs you maybe $10 to $15 a bottle. Most oil seals rely on a small internal spring that keeps the lip pressed tight against the shaft, kind of like a rubber band holding a lid down. As that rubber ages and dries out, it shrinks just enough to let oil sneak past that seal. A polymer-based conditioner works its way into that rubber and makes it supple again, plumping it back up so the spring can squeeze it into a proper seal once more. I first tried this stuff decades ago on a leaking hydraulic jack just to test it. Poured a couple ounces in with the jack fluid, and the very next day, no puddle underneath it at all. Used that same jack for years afterward without another drop leaking out. It won't fix a seal that's physically torn apart. Nothing will patch that. But for a seal that's simply aged and hardened, this trick has saved plenty of my customers from a full teardown. Just don't fall for the old trick of tossing brake fluid in there. Yes, it swells the rubber temporarily, but it shrinks worse afterward and leaks even more later. Now for the big one. The reason we're all here today. Hack number 1. Use a 1 ohm 10 watt resistor for a safe reset. Remember that Mercedes with the code that wouldn't clear even after the correct part was replaced? That's because a proper computer reset does more than clear a code. It wipes the module's memory back to factory settings entirely, and a basic scan tool physically cannot do that. The professional tool that does it right runs about $5,000. Not exactly sitting in your garage, and not exactly something you'd buy just to fix one stubborn code. But remember segment 9, where touching battery cables together can fry a modern car's modules with a nasty voltage spike? Here's how the pros actually drain that stored charge safely without any spike at all. A simple 1 ohm 10 watt resistor sold for under $1 at any electronics store. Pull both battery terminals off the car. Take one end of the resistor and touch it to the positive cable, the other end to the negative cable. That resistor slows the discharge down to a safe, gradual bleed instead of a violent instant dump, so there's no dangerous spike anywhere near your delicate modules. Let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. Or if you're impatient like me, clip a set of jumper cables onto each end of the resistor so you're not standing there in your driveway holding 2 wires like a mad scientist. Every single capacitor in every module fully drains out, nice and slow. The whole system forgets everything it learned, and it resets back to the exact settings it had rolling off the factory line, permanent code and all. No tools, no scanner, no $5,000 bill, just a part that costs less than a bag of chips. Put your terminals back on, positive first, then negative, snug them down, and that stubborn permanent code is very likely gone for good. Fair warning, you might have to reset your clock and your radio presets afterward. And on some cars, especially Toyotas, the idle might feel a little rough for a day or two while it relearns itself. Totally normal. Just drive it and it settles right down. So there you go, techies. A 99-cent part doing a job that would otherwise cost you a $5,000 tool or a dealer bill. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below with your favorite hack, or tell us another clever $5 hack you've discovered. And if you want even more uses that most drivers have never heard of, watch our next video. Doing this will make your car's AC blow twice as cold. Just click the video on your screen or use the link in the description. Drive smart, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.